This is episode number 26 with Brandy Evans.
Hello and welcome to Chase Your Star. I'm your host, Monica Carter-Tagore, here to inspire and empower you to take courageous action to write your book, build your brand, and live the life you desire. When you are ready to go for all life has for you, it's time to chase your star. Let's do it.
In this episode, I speak with Brandy Evans, who is the Vice President of Communications at the Shreveport-Bossier Convention and Tourist Bureau, and she has been on a 2-year journey of transformation. She started it as simply a weight loss journey, but in the midst of that, she shed not only physical pounds, but emotional and mental baggage, emotional and mental weight as well. So really listen to her as she talks about her journey. She's made some tremendous changes, and as we go into 2017, I am going to be working with a select group of people who want to make tremendous changes in their lives. If you are interested in making some significant changes in your life so that you too can have a transformation, then go to soulandjoy.com and click on the link at the top that says Get Ready for 2017. I will share more of that with you as time goes on, but if you're interested in working with me on personal transformation in 2017, just go to the site soulandjoy.com and click on that link at the top and get on the waiting list so when the program opens, you can find out about it. But for now, listen as Brandy talks about her transformation on this journey she's been on for the last 2 years. It's quite fascinating. It's resulted in many blessings, including being featured in the Weight Watchers magazine and for the February 2017 issue, as well as some other tremendous things which she will share in this interview. So listen up and be inspired.
We are here and we're very excited to have a very special guest on today. This is Brandy Evans. She is a phenomenal woman. She is a courageous woman, and I will share more of that with you as we go on. Actually, she will share more of that with you as we go on. She is celebrating 16 years at the Convention Tourism Bureau in Shreveport and Bossier, Louisiana. She is a vice president of communications, and she is a mother. In fact, she just sent her daughter off to college. And Brandy, can you tell us a bit of what that experience was like? I know you probably had a few mixed emotions, so please share that with us.
Yes, definitely mixed emotions. We give birth to these children, and our hope and our desire that they're going to be productive at whatever it is that they do, that they'll be good corporate citizens, that they will be friendly and kind, and they'll make the world a better place than it was before them. And so for me, sending my daughter off to college was definitely a bittersweet moment because she and I have had the most incredible 18 years together, been a single mama all that time. But we have traveled, we have laughed, we've read, we've talked, we've imagined, we've dreamed together. And so sending her off to college 5 hours away from home was very scary. Sending her to one of the most, she's living in a city that's one of the most culturally diverse, but also one of the most crime-ridden cities in New Orleans, Louisiana. But I've had to learn to trust God. And here recently, he showed me why she had to be in New Orleans. And so I get it. And that also brings me comfort to know that he's going to take care of her, too, while she's there.
Well, and is there anything you can share? You said that you saw the realization of why she was placed there. Why was that?
Yes. So she was only interested in going to 2 colleges, Tulane University in New Orleans and Rice University in Houston. She's a very smart, intelligent, thoughtful, and analytical girl. She wants to be a doctor when she grows up. And so having gone and toured those schools, my personal preference was for New Orleans. It was for Rice University in Houston, and her preference was for Tulane in New Orleans. And, just some mishaps with her dad, some other things, and she ended up not getting accepted into Rice. But it's not really where she wanted to go anyway. And I can remember walking, part of my journey over the last few years has been these long walks and talks with God. And I would say, God, please lead Jasmine. Please guide her. Please direct her. Please give her wisdom as she decides which college she's going to. But for me, that really meant, Lord, send her to Rice University because that's where I wanted her to go. I wanted him to direct her. And so one morning on these walks, he said, "You can't be mad where I lead her, guide her, and direct." And I said, "Okay, God, I get it. I will let go. I will be the supportive mom." And so I did. I let it go. And here recently, I'd gone to church one Sunday, and the pastor was just talking about things that are taught to our kids that are wrong, which gets them confused about their faith and who God is. And one of them is this whole topic of evolution. And so when I left church, I called her. I said, "I finally get why God has you in the midst of two lanes," because she and I had some early conversations about her actually being in the minority at the college that she's at, because most of the kids don't share her faith. And this is the first time she's in a situation where Christians are in the minority. But if you know her, she's a very loving, a very kind, a very caring girl, and so people are attracted to her because of that light that's in her. And so they're attracted to her.
Wow, that is beautiful.
It is. And so they've been asking her questions, and they've been talking about all kinds of tough topics that even as adults we're having a hard time talking about and challenging one another on, such as abortion and evolution and all these really tough topics. And they don't mind talking to her because she's not judging them, just sharing truth. And she does it in such a loving, thoughtful, intelligent way, and they can still share their thoughts in an intelligent way, even though they might be opposite in what she thinks, which makes them still want to talk to her and answer more questions. And I was telling her, I finally get it. I said, "You're going to school with some of our future's thought leaders, doctors, judges, lawyers, senators, governors. This is an incredible school. These kids come from all across the country and the world." And I said, "What if you changed one? What if one changed as a result? Not you change them. Only God changed people. But what if one of them changed as a result, and they were in a position of power, and they could order life instead of death because they were exposed to the truth?" And I said, "I finally get it." Shortly thereafter, like literally that next week, we got the call from Senator Greg Carver of North Louisiana giving her a full scholarship. And so it just reminds me that when God sends you on assignment, he's going to send you with the resources that you need. And that,
oh, my goodness, that's an amazing testimony, and that is so wonderful. I get chills even thinking about that, just seemingly out of nowhere, even though we know it wasn't out of nowhere, but seemingly out of nowhere you get this call, and suddenly she has the scholarship.
Yes, absolutely incredible. I couldn't have written this stuff, if I wanted to.
Well, that is certainly something to celebrate, not only the fact that she got the scholarship, but that she is in this wonderful school, and that, quite frankly, you have raised a wonderful daughter. God has been by your side every step of the way in these 18 years, and look at it. You get to see the fruit of that labor, and she will be a light to other people. As you celebrate her and going off to college, do you have some other news you are celebrating right about now?
I am celebrating. So recently, Weight Watchers selected me to be featured in their magazine. So the January-February issue of Weight Watchers magazine has a feature on me. And I'm still pinching myself, like, how did this happen? It's amazing. I'm not a model. Really, I wanted to be one. But anyway, it has been so phenomenal. This ride has been absolutely incredible.
Well, and you know what? I would like to talk a little bit about that ride then, just because I know we are ending the year and we're starting a new year, and many people will have on their list one of those things will be personal transformation through weight loss. And so you've been recognized for the weight loss that you've had, and quite frankly, I would love for you to talk about the personal transformation that came as a result of that journey, because as we know, when we're changing, even on the outside, that has to start because of something going on the inside. So my first question to you is that, do you consider your weight loss journey to have been something about personal transformation that started on the inside, or am I just off base there?
No, you are absolutely correct. Now, when I started the journey, I didn't know that it would be it would be more than weight loss, that it would be this internal transformation. I knew that weight loss is about, you have to change your mind. You can't lose weight until, your mind is in the game. But I guess I thought that was more like willpower than anything. But I guess just to kind of like put this into perspective, how I even got here. So I'm actually approaching my 2-year anniversary joining Weight Watchers. It was December 30th, 2014. I woke up one morning and I went to bend over to tie my shoes, and I could hardly tie my shoes. My stomach was just so big. I put on so much weight. And the reality was I wasn't really happy with myself. I wasn't confident. I just wasn't really happy. And so I thought, I have to do something. I just can't. I can't live.
I can't keep going like this. No.
I can't keep doing this. On this path that I'm on, because the reality was I was wearing size 14 pants, but they were all too small. They were just cutting into my stomach. I'd come home, you have all these little, indentions on your belly because your pants are too tight all day long. But and I'm sure there's some other women out there who can identify with that. But,
I'm sure, absolutely.
and so I'd joined Weight Watchers before. I'd had some success with the program. And I told myself I'm going to join in December. I'm not going to wait till the new year because that might feel like a New Year's resolution. I don't want it to be temporary. I need a change forever. I need a long-term change. And so I went and joined Weight Watchers. And then, when you first join the program, they talk to you about changing your eating habits. But then, they talk to you about getting exercise in to, help promote weight loss. And I'm a morning person, so I started walking in the mornings before work to get my exercise in. On these walks, I started, if I'm going to be out here walking, I could use this as prayer time. And so I would pray. I would just sort of meditate on scriptures I had read or things we talked about at church. And I would just sort of walk and pray and talk. And then my talks began to be real authentic, real raw with God. I would say things like, this person really hurt me. And quite frankly, I'm not over it. God, I literally hate this person. I can't stand to be in a room with them. I know I'm not supposed to hate. Those aren't, emotions that are healthy. How do you help me? God, I need you to help me. I pray.
So this was some real intimacy with God. You were having some intimacy here. You're like, look, God, forget the facade, forget, fake stuff. I'm being real with you.
I'm being real with you. Finally, I'm pulling the mask back, and I am just letting my emotions out. I'm not pretending. I'm not. And you know what? In some instances, there were some people I didn't even realize how deep the level of hurt and anger and bitterness and frustration was with them until I had this moment with him. And I prayed for my daughter. I prayed for a husband. I prayed for just all sorts of things, just because he's my father. And I just, all of a sudden, I felt that I could. But and I'm sorry, one of the first revelations I got during these talks was that he cared for me. I've been part of these ministries that weren't very good and positive situations, and to a lot of degree allowed myself to be manipulated and kind of pushed around a little bit. And so, when you kind of let other people be responsible for your relationship with God, you don't develop the level of intimacy that you need. But, I had moved on. I was in a good ministry, doing great things in my community, really feeling like I was beginning to walk in my purpose, which, just serving others. And so I got this revelation that he cared for me so deeply. And once I got that revelation, then I just began to have these very private, intimate moments with him. And so I began to heal and to let go and to be able, literally it was like he put these magic glasses on my eyes and allowed me to see the perspective of the people who I felt had hurt me and to understand where that came from,
And so when you were able to suddenly see their perspective, then that gave you kind of a different idea to approach the situation with, so you weren't so wrapped up in the hurt? Is that what happened?
Yes. Because it was like, you know what, their lives weren't easy. That maybe they didn't do this to you intentionally. Hurt people hurt other people. Maybe somebody had shown them love and shown them the kind of kindness that I was craving, then maybe they would have been able to give it. And so that was so liberating, and like I said, I definitely began to lose weight, but I began to lose all of this bitterness, and I started to talk positively to myself. I know that there's power in our words, good or bad. We talk negative to ourselves, then we get the benefit of that. If we talk positive to ourselves, then we get the benefit of that. So 2 years, I would say, my best days are ahead of me and not behind me. And I said that because I was so concerned. Number one, it's scriptural. But I said that because I was so afraid that me and my daughter had the time of our lives, and maybe I wasn't going to have any more fun. And so, I would just have all these negative thoughts. But I would say my best days are ahead of me and not behind me, and the best is yet to come. So even when I didn't believe it, I would say these things filled with doubt and wonder, and like, oh, God, I'm saying this, but, I can't fathom how it could be anything different. But I just kept saying it. I just kept saying it.
And did you see then how, even though you did not believe the words at first, by consciously saying the words to yourself, gradually you did start to believe it? Did you saw that was going on with you then?
Yes. So my confidence began to go up. Again, I began to be freer because I was letting go and not dragging around, the hate, the frustration, the bitterness that I had been carrying. And I think if you could trace back, why are you eating? Why are you, like, sometimes just binge eating? Literally just you wake up on a Saturday morning, eat until it's time to go to bed. And for no real reason at all, because certainly you're not hungry, you don't eat that much food.
But it was comfortable. It was comforting.
It was comforting. It was how I comforted myself. Issues like I'd been married and divorced. Well, I've been divorced since 2009. But, when you just sort of get divorced and you move on as though nothing ever happened, you never address all those ill feelings that are still there. During this time, I got to address those things, and so food no longer had to be my comfort. I love to eat, but it's no longer my comfort. And like I said, I lost weight, I lost bitterness, unforgiveness, and my mindset about who I was began to change. Even after I lost the weight initially, I still saw the bigger girl in the mirror. People would say, oh, my God,
wow,
you're so great, you lost weight.
But you couldn't see that. You couldn't see that.
I couldn't see it. I was still wearing a lot of the bitter clothes, clothes falling off of me, but I still saw the girl who could wear those clothes. I didn't see the girl.
Why do you think that was? Why do you think that was?
It took a while for my mental to catch up with my physical. I think all of that was part of that healing. I still hadn't quite healed just yet. My confidence and my, I was saying those things. I was building myself up, but I still hadn't gotten there yet. And
wow, and I just want to, I would like to pause just for a moment to sit in that space before we go into something else. All of this happened internally, even though you started this by addressing an external issue. And the growth that happened wasn't something that you could have predicted or even foreseen, yet it's a huge part of this whole thing. And I also want to, and I point this out because I know there are people who are listening who will be, as I said, approaching the new year, looking at the physical changes they want to make. But please be aware that when you are really committed even to a physical change, there's something inside that is going to manifest as well, and you will be a different person coming out of that experience than you were going into it. And I want to actually shift and talk about that for a moment, if you don't mind, which you've been talking about, kind of this growth. So can you talk to us about how the Brandy today is different from that Brandy who started this journey almost 2 years ago? Who are you now?
This Brandy is very confident, self-aware. She, I think she is in more control now than she was then, even though she thought she was in control of everything at that point. If that makes any sense. And this Brandy also knows that that God is in control. Mm-hmm. This Brandy knows that he hears and answers her prayers, and that she can trust him, and that you do the work on yourself every day. Mm-hmm. Every day you do the work on yourself. Oprah says you must be present, that that's the only moment you have now. And so this Brandy is trying to be way more conscious of the moment that she's in, appreciating it, loving it, opening up her eyes to notice things around her. I know this is kind of silly, but I'm that person in the past who would drive to work, would spend 15, 20 minutes, and never even pay attention to her route. Drive past the same buildings every day and don't even notice certain things. And now I'm trying to not work on my to-do list and who said something that bothered me and how am I going to handle or navigate this thing and who do I have to meet with today. I'm literally like, okay, thank you, Lord. Wow, I did not see that building. That's pretty interesting over there. And
wow.
Oh, wow. You know, look at the people, you know, the kids at the bus stop. Just that might sound silly, but it's trying to make my mind be present and be still and take in that moment that God gave me, this moment.
And I don't think it's silly at all. In fact, that's something that I actually would like to even highlight within this conversation, because I think a lot of people are where you were. We are on autopilot in our lives. We're going through every day doing the same thing by rote and by memory, and we're not aware, we're not conscious, and we look up and we've gone through our whole lives on autopilot. We've not taken the joy out of each day. We've not taken the celebration out of each day. We've not even recognized the growth in each day because we're on autopilot. So I am so glad that you brought that up, because it is important for us to be more mindful, and that's something I'm working on even in my life. And, of course, it's a daily thing, as we all know. We're all works in progress, and we all want to be able to show that we're growing from point to point, day to day, year to year. And one of the places of my growth is in being, as you are talking about, being more mindful, because, you know, this journey, life is a journey. It's not just about getting to whatever end destination we want to reach one day. It's about being in each of the moments that we have, because those are the only moments that we are guaranteed. So thank you for pointing that out, and I hope that, you know, if there are listeners who are going on autopilot in their lives, they will start to think that maybe I don't want to be on autopilot. I don't want to just simply go through each day by rote and by memory and just by habit without being conscious of what's going on. So can you talk to us a little bit about when you switched from being on autopilot to being more mindful? How has that affected your life? How has that affected kind of how you experience each day?
Well, it's like the roses begin to smell more fragrant. The hues in the sky are a little bit brighter. You just notice things that you haven't noticed before. And one of the lessons with Weight Watchers is mindful eating. We will sit in front of the TV with a big bag of chips, and in an hour's time, you've eaten half the bag of chips because you literally weren't paying attention. And so, you know, when you sit down, you are mindful of what you're putting into your body. Instead of just grabbing the whole bag, you put a serving of those chips onto a plate or a napkin, and you enjoy them, and you're mindful, and you taste them, and you enjoy them. And with your relationships, you know, that, you know, when you are with your family, you learn to put the cell phone down for that hour over dinner, and that you just enjoy the conversation. You find out who the people are in your life and what they're doing. You know, I know as women we are taught to multitask, but the reality is that there is no perfect multitasking. When you're doing a few things at one time, all of those things are suffering. You're not doing any one of them at 100%. And so, you know, if you're having dinner and you've got the TV blaring and you've got cell phones out and you're doing all these things, it's difficult to be present. And so, you know, that's something that I have to practice. I haven't mastered it. I'm practicing it. Because my daughter used to always complain about the cell phone. And so she'll be home today, and while she's here, we're going to practice. She and I both
Oh, wow.
being present with
That's
one
wonderful.
another.
That is wonderful. And it takes your relationships to a whole different level when you're actually paying attention to the people you're talking to, you're interacting with. When you are looking them in the eyes instead of looking all around or looking at your cell phone, then they feel and know that you truly care.
Absolutely. And again, you have that moment, right? My daughter's only going to be home for a short period of time, and so we have that moment. We have these relationships. And I'll tell you, too, yes, I've been at the Convention and Tourist Bureau going on 16 years, but there was a shift for me. I quit, chasing all these corporate goals and began to chase relational goals.
Tell us about that.
Well, so, I feel like I've been successful. I'm successful at what I do. I enjoy what I do. I guess 2 years ago, I was like, I'm not getting the most out of my relationships. I hardly have any friends, not really going out doing a whole bunch because I work so much. And my daughter's going to be going off to college, and I need to be present. I need to spend more time. I'd rather do more things with my family and friends than, work over. And what happened was I began to say no to some things at work, but that actually improved my job satisfaction. It actually helped me to stay focused on the things that mattered and that were producing results. So all of a sudden it seemed like me and my team were knocking it out of the park, whereas before we were just trying to do everything that everybody brought to us and that we could.
By saying no to some things, you were able to focus on those things that were most important.
Yes, and do a very good job at them. And then my job satisfaction began to rise, even though I was spending less time.
Wow.
And so I began to spend more time with my daughter doing fun things. She and I went to Paris and London for her 16th birthday, and
that's
just
phenomenal.
Amazing, a blessing to be able to do that. Honestly, to know my story and background, we didn't travel anywhere, let alone, being able to celebrate your daughter's 16th birthday in London and Paris. But I began to reconnect with friends, make an effort to find new friends, to go out and to do things. And so those relationships have been much more rewarding and fulfilling because at the end of the day, when I close my eyes, when God has said, come on home, I don't want my family and friends standing around saying, well, she was the best vice president of communications you ever met. I hope that they'll say she was a very good mom. She was a loyal friend.
Yes.
She served her community. She went into the mission field. Those are the things that I want people to say about me. And they can say she did a great job, but I don't want that to be the only thing that they say about me. And if I don't want that to be the only thing that they say about me, then I have to nurture other things in my life. And so, but as a result, all these other opportunities have come up. I actually recently applied for an adjunct professor position with the University of Dallas to do some online teaching. And so I feel like, thank you. So, I'm just waiting on the call for them to put me to work, right? But
absolutely, right? Absolutely. Well, let me ask you this, because you had so much personal transformation in this 2-year period from, of course, obviously taking your daughter on this amazing European trip for her 16th birthday to being able to get some closure about some hurts that had happened to you and just to kind of get rid of all that pain, all that hurt, put it in its place and to see something, positive come out of that and restore some relationships. And, of course, as you just mentioned, being able to increase your job satisfaction by focusing kind of on a different thing. So can you tell us, because of this whole personal transformation that you have experienced, just what life is looking like for you now as you look toward the next year? What are some things you want to work on, or what are some things you're considering or aspiring to do? Just where are you? Where are you in this space now?
And not that my life is perfect. I wouldn't want for your audience to go, oh, my gosh, she just has it all together. Her life is so perfect. No one's life is absolutely perfect.
Right.
But, my faith makes me strong and keeps me going, even during the tough times. And that has been the story of my life. I have this feature in Weight Watchers this month. They asked me to come on board part-time. So I hope next year to be inspiring other women to take control of their health, of their physical body, of their total self. I think weight loss is about addressing the whole man, not just not just the weight loss. I think you want to, in the process, being whole mentally, physically, and spiritually. And so I hope to inspire women over the next year. I started dating, and so I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes. I've been helping a friend with some consultation and some other things, and so I just kind of have a lot of things bubbling up, and I'm just looking forward to the new year. I started doing mission work. I went on my first mission trip in February of this year, December 27th. I'm going back to Guatemala with Jasmine, my daughter, and we're going to do some more mission work. I hope to be able to do more of that next year. I love volunteering in my community, and so any opportunities that present themselves to go and to just show love to people, definitely say Jesus. But you know what? Sometimes people need a hug. Sometimes someone needs you to just hug them and touch them because they don't even feel worthy of it. You go. My church gone to the Shreveport Bossier Rescue Mission. These people are homeless for various reasons, and sometimes you don't even feel worthy. And so just to have people come in and to just love on you, right? They're not trying to win you to come to their church or anything. They're just showing you love. They give you a moment to not think about your situation, but to play games. We set up Sunday bars and, just let them eat Sunday, and we play games and give them gifts, and we hug and we talk, and, you just get a moment of humanity, of people just loving on one another, and I hope to do more of that next year too.
Well, in this fast-paced world that we're in, and even though we are super connected via social media, a lot of times people feel less connected than ever before because everything is online, and sometimes they don't get that physical interaction. So what you're saying as far as sometimes just loving on somebody, I think that can make a huge difference in someone's life because you never know just what your touch, what your word, what your smile will mean to somebody else. And so by you consciously wanting to share that love, I think that is pretty phenomenal. That's pretty amazing, and that's something that can be life-changing.
Well, life-changing for you because sometimes you think that, I'm going to give them love, but you walk away with so much love. Number one, of course, everything God says is true, but what he says is better to give than to receive just at the basic level, even if you're not a believer. When you give people things, there's such joy that comes from doing that. Like I said, sometimes we, go in and we think that we're giving them something, but man, I walk away feeling so much more joy than whatever it is that they got from me. Just to see them smile and to laugh for a little bit, and like I said, just to be human, for people to live the moment and to be human for a little bit, for their problems not to be front and center for an hour or two, and it's a beautiful thing. It is an absolute beautiful thing to see them be transformed for a little bit of time. But while they're transformed, you're really being transformed too.
That is something definitely we want to remember because, you go in thinking that, I'm going to go and share something with these people. I'm going to help them. And you walk out feeling, wow, they have really helped me. Wow, they have really shared something with me. Wow, they have really touched me. And that is the beauty of giving because when you give from a sincere place, then you're going to receive something back, and it's going to even be more than whatever you thought you were giving. So I think you are definitely in the right space, and you definitely are in the right frame of mind for giving and knowing that you're going to receive something, even though you're not giving to receive, but it's just a natural byproduct of what you're doing. It's just it all goes around. It all goes around. You share love, you get love. As you know, one of my aims with this Chase Your Star podcast is to inspire people to chase their stars, to take courageous action, to follow their dreams. So with you having experienced this 2-year transformation, what is an act of courage that you had to put in place to make all this happen? What was your act of courage?
Honestly, trusting God. You know, as Christians, we love to say we trust until something difficult happens.
Oh, indeed,
Real.
indeed.
You know, I'm just being real. I'm peeling back my layers right now and pulling back the mask. Is trusting Him. When you want something so bad and you cannot figure out how you can get it yourself. One of my greatest fears, ending my life alone. You know, I only had the one child. I was married very briefly. In my family, there aren't very many successful marriages or relationships. And quite frankly, a lot of the women are single and by themselves. And so that was a fear. And I had to be courageous and say, God, that's not my fate. That's not who I am. I have family members, I have friends and strangers saying, girl, as long as you live in Shreveport, you're never going to find anybody. You're in the wrong place. If you want to be in a relationship, you're going to need to move to a big city. And I kept saying, but God, how can that be when, you know, I feel like you have me here, like you placed me here. I like being. And so I don't need there to be a million men interested in me. I just need one, you know. And
That's one. That's one, God. Come on.
I just need the one, you know.
Exactly.
And so literally when you're looking around, you have no prospects, and you've not dated in years, and, you know, you're looking at your family, and people are saying, oh, girl, if you ever want somebody, you got to get out of here. That can feel impossible. And so then all you do have is trust. But I think to be courageous, to chase your star, you have to trust that even when you don't know exactly how, when you don't know every exact step to take. But I heard someone say, what are you dreaming about? And I remember I was just like, I don't know. I don't really know what to dream about. But let me just say this too, that, you know, God can give you the exceedingly and the abundantly above all you ask or think, and that is a scripture. And even if you don't know exactly what to dream, allow yourself to know that great things can happen to you. That's all you need to believe, that great things can happen to me. You know, find your passion. I think particularly for women, we wear ourselves out sometimes to the point where we can't dream. We're just exhausted all the time. And so you have to clear your schedule somewhat and learn to say no. That was one of the most liberating things that ever happened to me, was learning to say no and to not even offer an explanation. Just
no explanation. Don't feel bad about it. Just keep it moving.
Just keep it moving. And guess what? The world won't stop. Your family and friends who love you, they will understand. Even your coworkers and your bosses will line up. And it will be liberating. It will give you a chance to think about what it is that I do want. You can't be courageous sometimes until you have a little bit of direction. You got to speak well to yourself, you know. You have to literally say out of your mouth, not just in your head. I think you need to say out of your mouth that I can do this, that I want this. I'm worthy of this. I deserve this. And part of that is being courageous, because a lot of times we won't even prioritize ourselves. You know, our needs will be behind everybody else's. And when they're at the very end, by the time we get to our needs, we're too tired to take care of them. You know, when you really just need a nap, you won't take the nap because, oh, I got to wash the clothes, and, you know, so-and-so needs this, and oh, I got to go to the grocery store. And, you know, and yes, all those things are important. You know, we have to take care of our household. But a 30-minute nap where you shut everything else down is good for you. We need sleep. Or the book. You know, you bought the book, you've been wanting to read it, but you literally won't allow yourself time to sit down because you have so many things on the to-do list. Well, first things first, whittle that to-do list down. And guess what? The dishes don't have to be washed. Leave them there. The clothes, they don't have to get washed today. They can go one more day. Sometimes we just have to say, I'm important, and this day I'm going to move up that priority list until you get yourself moved up 2 days out of the week, 3 days out of the week, 5 days, 7 days out of the week. but you got to start somewhere.
And I think it takes courage for us to put ourselves on that priority list, because a lot of times we're at the bottom of the list because we think all these things are more important. And if we don't do these things, the world will fall apart. And so we get so scared that if I don't do this thing, if I say yes to everything, if I don't go to this meeting, if I don't bake these cookies for the classroom, if I don't join this committee, then something bad is going to happen. The world will fall apart. You know what? If we do what you're saying and we start to prioritize ourselves, we develop the courage to prioritize ourselves, and we start to say no, we take the courage to say no, we'll find that our whole lives are better and the world doesn't fall apart. The world keeps rocking along, and we're much better because we had the courage to say no and to put ourselves on that list.
Yes. And that does take courage. I was talking with one of my fellow Weight Watcher buddies, and she was saying that she used to never be on the list. And quite frankly, I wasn't either. If 2 years ago, if you had said, Brandy, write a list, and all the people who are most important, put them on that list, I would have never thought to write my own name on that list. I've written all kinds of people's names on that list, I would not have written my own name. And so I was talking about that, and she was agreeing and saying that she has made her list now. She's not at the top of the list, but she's finally made the list.
At least she's on the list. So it's all about growth. She's on the list.
Yes. And so for some of us going into 2017, at least put yourself on the list. You know, if you're not ready to make yourself number one because that feels too selfish, then that's fine. Get yourself on the list.
Just get yourself on the list. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
I have just a couple more questions, and I will let you go because I certainly appreciate your time today. But I want to ask you, going back over, as you look over this weight loss journey, do you feel that it was a spiritual journey as well?
It was more of a spiritual journey than it was a weight loss journey. I feel like I have been transformed. I now understand the power of prayer. I understand that God hears and answers, even when I don't think he is, when I'm afraid he isn't going to, when I'm uncertain about what answer he's going to give me. And I just feel like there's so much more. He's drawn me in so much closer, and he has so many more good things for me to do. You know, it's not all about all the things that I get from him. You know, that used to be where my prayers started. Oh, God, I need a new house, I need a new car, I need shoes for the baby, you know. But I feel like now it's all about, you know, what else can I do? You know, who else can I help? What else do I need to know so that I can be a witness? I can be a contribution, you know, to the kingdom. It's definitely been more of a spiritual journey than the physical. But the reward of that spiritual journey was this physical manifestation and change and transformation in my life. And, you know, even as a result of that, now, you know, I'll be working for Weight Watchers, helping others. That path is, definitely where I want to be, where I want to go, and where I want to grow, you know. And what's fun is it's going to help me even on my weight loss journey, because now I have to be more accountable because others, you know.
Yeah, And that's part of the journey. I think accountability is very important, just to kind of keep us on the path, because, you know, every now and then we might want to waver a little bit, but having a little bit of accountability is really good. So I am really excited about your new position with Weight Watchers. I'm excited that you get to share your story and to inspire other people as they read that Weight Watchers article. In fact, can you tell us where we can go and find the Weight Watchers article and how we can support you? Where can we find you online?
So the Weight Watchers magazine it'll be in all of the national bookstores, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble. Sometimes I even see them in the grocery stores. And so, like I said, I'll be the January, February edition. So please pick it up.
Absolutely.
There'll be an accompanying video, and the URL is in the bottom of that article. You can go online and hear more of my story. You can follow me on Facebook. I'm Brandy Evans. I'm on Instagram as Lady B1. Follow me there. And I just look forward to getting to know more people and to sharing my story and, you know, to give people the good, the bad, and the ugly. We have a Shreveport Bossier Weight Watchers group, and the one thing that people on there know is that I'm going to share my challenge. They're going to give me inspiration. One of my greatest challenges right now is drinking enough water. Yeah, I posted about that, and these women started giving me all kinds of ideas of how I can get more water in. And that's what it's about. It's about community. It's about sharing. It's about encouraging, lifting up, recognizing that there'll be times when we're off our game, and that's okay. As long as you don't stay off, you recognize where you're at, what changes need to be made, you brush yourself off, and you keep going. Because I don't think anybody's journey is just linear, right?
No,
there's some ups on that journey. There's some downs on that journey. You go left when you're supposed to go right. You just you keep the end goal in mind, and eventually that path will straighten out. And you just enjoy it. I worked for the first time as an employee of Weight Watchers on yesterday, and got to talk with some of the women as they would come in to weigh in. And I'd say, well, how was your week? And for them, it's like, oh, it just depends upon what the scale says. And I would say, no, it doesn't. Your week has nothing to do with this scale. How was
scale is the scale.
The scale is the scale. How was your week? Oh,
wow.
We had a Christmas party, had a great time. Then that's how your week was, And we'll forgive ourselves. We'll make allowances for ourselves. This is about a lifestyle change. It's not about a crash diet. Crash diets don't work. They're temporary. What you're after is eating healthy, right? That's one part of it. But the other is finding joy in life. And so you have a corporate Christmas party, and the only thing they have is Rotel. I mean, you can not eat any. You can eat before you get there if you so choose. Or you can get yourself a small portion of it. Maybe 2 years ago you have had a double portion. Maybe this year you only get one portion. But you have to live in the moment, You have to live in the moment. So I think that's a beautiful thing about Weight Watchers or any program, any healthy program that you do. You have to allow yourself life.
I think that is so right. And I want to ask you one other question, and it is this. If you had to give the Brandy of 2 years ago one piece of advice, what would that be? Because there are a lot of people who are where you were 2 years ago. They are at that point now, and they just need a little bit of hope, a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of something to just push them along. So what is the advice that you would give that Brandy of 2 years ago?
Relax. Quit being so uptight. Quit worrying about things that are out of your control. It's going to work out. I wish I could have said that to myself and believed it in that moment, because it has more than worked out. I mean, God has superseded all my expectations. And just be consistent, but it's going to work out. Just keep telling yourself it's going to work out. It's going to work out. It's going to work out. I cannot say that enough. And you deserve it. You deserve it, because we don't place enough value on ourselves sometimes, and allowing ourselves the opportunity to take care of ourselves. So you deserve it, and it's going to work out.
Thank you so much for sharing your incredibly inspirational story. I celebrate you, and I am just excited for all of the growth and all of the opportunities you are seeing. You have sent your daughter off to college. She's doing well. You see, she is a light, and that's why she was there. You've raised a beautiful child by God's grace, and now you see that your career is going well in that, not that it wasn't before, but in that you have more career satisfaction because of choosing to say no to certain things while you can focus on other things. And some of those things you told us at the beginning of of this talk, that one of the things you prayed for was a husband, a man. You feared that you may die alone. Well, you're in a relationship, you're dating, so we're excited to celebrate that with you. We are excited to celebrate this personal journey of weight loss that turned into a journey of transformation and spiritual growth. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. I know it's been personally inspiring to me, and I know that it will be inspiring to our listeners. And we will check out your feature in Weight Watchers. Again, that is the January-February edition of Weight Watchers magazine. That's on shelves. Is it on shelves now? Will be on shelves.
It's on shelves now. They started shipping them to stores.
Okay, on shelves now, so you can check those out at bookstores as well as in some grocery stores. And you can find Brandy online. You can check her out on Facebook at Brandy Evans, and also on Instagram at
Miss Lady B1, MSLadyBeE.1. the number 1.
Brandy, thank you so much for being a part of this. We look forward to all the great things you're going to do in the new year. God bless you and have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you.
And there you have it, this week's episode of Chase Your Star. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to go to iTunes and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And if you want more inspirational and empowering information between episodes, be sure to go to my website at soulandjoy.com. That's SOULANDJOY.com. Read the post, look around the site, and be sure to sign up for the mailing list so you can get lots of great information in your inbox. See you next time on Chase Your Star.